Hello, my beautiful five pinners. How are you guys holding up? I know I've been thinking about you a lot. The five personal year is kind of tricky to manage through and hold yourself together. June is this midpoint in the year, and your numbers for this month are 6-2. The way that you're going to successfully navigate the June terrain that we're all in is through the characteristics and traits of the two energy. All right. So before we get into what's going on with your business and your finances and all things relationship and personal aims and goals, that's what I call your to-do list. Let's talk a little bit about what this 2 frequency is up to, the superpowers of the 2, things to stay away from, and how to best navigate through this 6 energy of June. Right. The way I always describe this is if your 5 personal year, the whole 12-month cycle is the marathon run, and the way that you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in this 8 personal year that we're sitting in is through the traits, characteristics that are on the positive end of the spectrum of the 5. These month runs are like little mini sprint runs that make up the totality of your whole 5 personal year experience. And your number that is made up of, the math is, I've got a tutorial for that, so I'm not going to go into it here. The number that you have at your disposal to work with and get better at and expand inside of is the way that you are going to get the biggest bang for your buck with the bogeys and the goals and the things that actually mean a lot to you in your life. And that number is 2. Okay, so I've got about a 7-minute video that covers the June energy of 6. Go ahead and give that a listen. I'm going to briefly cover it right here. It essentially is the number of community and being the visionary inside of whatever community that you are a part of, whether it's personal or it's work or it's philanthropic, it's in, it just can be anywhere that you are a part of. The visionary has the ability to see how to make things better. The visionary 6 energy also has a ton of patience, an inordinate amount of patience, and the capacity to forgive when things are not done perfectly. And with the goal of teaching others to do for themselves. Ultimately, what does that translate to? It might translate to having the confidence to make a living at whatever it is that you're teaching them. Helping others do better in some way, shape, or form. There is no, I'm kind of hesitating on which direction I'm going to go with the 6. There are negative characteristics that you want to steer clear of, and that's perfectionism and getting stuck in petty details. That this perfectionistic tendency of the 6, it also includes the self and getting stuck in petty details that doesn't really move the needle forward for that community setting or situation to be in better shape than how you found it, right? So with the 6 energy of let's make this better, and we've got a 30-day run to do it, right? And so what do we need to do in order to make it better? The energy of the visionary is really super important because as far as communities go, we're far from looking at each other and saying, I see you, I value you, I honor you, I respect you, because you're simply another human being and you have the right to live life and to be successful and prosperous, and then vice versa, that person would say that to us, right? We are far from that place of deep respect, honor, integrity, and being able to live side by side successfully. So that 6 frequency is incredibly important. I fully expect to see in our news waves representations of both the positive and the negative manifestation of how a community is doing. You can just break it down to the wars that are going on right now. You know, enough already, stop. How do we get to this? So this visionary number is essential that we individually grab onto, and we, the one, are the manifestation of connection to other people. I see you, I respect you, I honor you, I value you. And then that's what you're teaching, and then that's what is given back to you in return. So we have to start with ourselves, and one to one, and one to many. You know, so anyways, go have a listen to that video because I'm doing it all again. Let's talk about you and your successful navigation through June is with this number 2. 2 is the number of the twins. It's the number of the lovers. It is the connection to another human being. And the 2 energy is a little bit like having twins that both want to sit in the front seat. And they bicker and they quarrel because there is so much going on with choices and decisions, things that are not necessarily all that complicated to other people. Like, I want to go do this job, and I want to go and have that type of relational experience. I think I want to have kids, and I think that's where I want to live. You know, these basic things to most people, when they're functioning in other numbers, are not complicated. It is so complicated for the 2 energy to kind of get a grip on itself because it involves clear dialogue between feeling, intuitive feeling, and the mental field. So when the 2 is starting to cook with some gas, what we say about these people is they are incredible diplomats. They listen, they pay attention. My head is just buzzing. Wow. They read the room. They have a way to be looking at all forms of conflict, all forms of disagreement with this. They can feel it, and yet their minds are moving and moving and moving. And what they're looking for is, where is the point of resolution or solution? Where's that point? Resolution or solution? Where is it? I'm looking, I can't find it. And then they do. 2s have the ability to find it. So the difficulty with the 2 is that they are, you know, intuitively psychic to a fault or to the greatest gift. And they also have the capacity to not get overwhelmed by that experience, of the emotional experience, and activate their mental field and say, you know, as the mental field is just deducing the feelings, the conflict, the angst, the pissy fits, the quarreling, the bickering, the not seeing eye to eye, whatever it is. And also at the same time being able to think. That is the emancipated expression of the 2, all right? We would say, I'm going to tell you that, you know, general traditional numerology calls the 2 the cooperative, balanced diplomat. And that is overly simplified. The way that I'm telling you this is like, you know, true diplomacy does come from one-to-one communication and the ability to talk. Note what I was saying about the 6 frequency. I see you, I value you, you matter, and I respect you. And the person says to you, I see you too, I value you too. This is the absolute, this is the definition of the 2. And yet it functions largely in the 6 visionary list of traits, all right? So you're in a very powerful month that I want you to take, like right now, just sit back and have a listen, because the things that are going to happen this month for you in your business and in your relationships has a lot to do with your future and what you're going to be doing in your future. Living, lots of moving happens in the 5. Job changes happen in the 5. Promotions or total flips and shifts. And oftentimes it's moving right out of the state that you live in or the jurisdiction that you live in, that you are going for a job, all right? There's just so many big things that happen in a 5 personal year that when something like this shows up, a 2-6 coupling, because what we're right now, where we're at is we're halfway through the 12-month cycle. And what that means is that ball that started to roll last month is slowly beginning to pick up some steam and rolling down the hill. We're beginning the latter half of the 12 months, all right? Okay. So there's going to be some delays probably that will show up for business and your bigger plans. And this is, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth with your to-do list, as well as just keep on talking about this 2 energy working inside of the community number. There will be forms of delays for you, but that's just because the number sequence for you, which is 8 global year, 5 personal year, we're in a community year where it's all about making things better than how they currently are, all right? So there's cleanup, and you're an active part of that cleanup. You are talking, you are negotiating, blah, blah, right? Okay, it's gonna be next month and the next month that you really are going to begin to see some difference in getting some solid traction. Next month, you're moving into a 7-3 energy, and then the next month, in August, is probably when you will either be relocated in one way, shape, or form, or you're absolutely locked into a plan, okay? Because that 4 energy is all about building structure and order and systems for stability, right? So any delays that happen for you anywhere this month have to do with your highest good. I don't want you to be pushing any square pegs through any round holes. And there's the don't list that I need to get to for you. But basically what this is saying is stay open to communication, have those conversations, be present with conflict. In our communities, what makes up community is people. And if we were just a big hot mess and nobody was cooperating with anybody, it would be a very different living situation, societal situation across the board, right? But this is a superpower of the 2. And that's where you're at. This is how you are going to come out of the June experience with positive outcomes. And then the positive outcomes are building to your whole entire 5 personal year experience, which is, if we do this right, you are going to be pleased with the outcome, with your finances, with your work, with your relationships. You will be pleased with where you are at come December. And then you'll be ready to move forward into January, where you start your 6 personal year experience. This is the month of talking. This is the month of figuring some stuff out. And because of the 5 frequency, things have to change. There is a need for there to be a little bit of fire burning so that new growth can happen. The beauty of the 5 is that it is all about that. It is all about being able to make new, to change, to go to places that you've never gone to before, in relationship with your ideas or your thoughts or what you think is possible for yourself, your own desires, your own goals. And what is needed there in order for that to happen is financial stability and relationship stability. Yeah? If you were in like a 9, if you had a 9 energy here to work with, I'd be saying, would you look at the things that are being asked to let go? Look at the relationships that are being asked to let go. But that's not what you have. You have 2. Your success sits in talking and listening and feeling and finding the balance of not overgiving, but also getting in there. This is okay, so let me go to your to-do directives. So this is a roll up your sleeves and get to work month. And you will be working with people in your business situations. And if you run your own company, if you are a team leader, you're going to be getting in there and you're going to start doing some heavy lifting and hard work. And you have a role to play here. And that role is to practice patience, to listen for the things that are not being said, and to find a way to broker differing opinions or little squabbles and kerfuffles. You might be in a room of really capable people who cannot seem to find a way to collaborate together. Well, what do you do with that? Everything I just said about the 2. That's what you do with it. It's not your job, by the way, to go in and do it all yourself. It is, nothing is perfect. You know, I would say we all need to front load this following list, because the 6 can, you know, do the negative manifestation and it just goes nowhere. If we practice perfectionism, it's going to get us in trouble. If we front load perfectionism, it's going to give a ton of trouble, because then any perfectionistic tendency says, well, you're not doing it right, so I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to do it myself over and over until you got a lot on your plate that you need perfect for some reason. And really, in the bigger scheme of things, this ends up to a ton of petty details that all you're going to get at the end of the month is petty details that look picture perfect. And yet the same problems are functioning inside of your team, the people that you're working with, right? Nothing has been resolved. In fact, now it's just even more of a mess, right? Nothing has changed. And so don't go into that direction. For the 2 as well, the 2 also has a tendency to say, I'll do that myself. I'll take that off your plate. You don't want to do that. You want, both 2s and 6s are teachers. They're master teachers. And so teach away and empower other people to do for themselves. I think the last thing I'm going to say about this, because at this point I think I am, you know, beating that same gong a little bit too much. What was the last thing I was going to say about this? The two. Honestly, most of what's going on around you has nothing to do with you. It really, really doesn't. And so if you can step back and depersonalize the deep intense feelings, you're going to do a lot better, all right? And with the 6 as well, like there's just, most has nothing to do with you. It is old stuff that needs to be addressed. It needs to be loved, hugged and snugged, as I say, all right? I would say that the only thing I'm going to say about your to-don't list is 2 things. Don't worry, don't push anything that it isn't time. The 5 energy can be somewhat forceful and short-tempered and really quick to talk and to say things that you might regret later on because you've lost patience with people, right? And you want things to happen now. Because there has been a requirement through the last 5 months that you have a lot of discipline actually underneath the things that are blowing up in your life, I am sitting here in my 5 pen and I am going to be moving across the country. So, and guess what happened my last 5? I moved across the country. There's a sobering aspect to these pins for me, these personal years for me. And I walk into each one carefully, but always the 5, super lightly. So anyways, with all the stuff that's, up in the air and you've had to build a structure underneath, this month requires that you are quite centered with any delays that show up. So don't do your best not to force any issues. And also do your best not to retreat. Don't go, don't go loner, all right? Stay present, keep yourself in the game, don't go anywhere, have some balance. This thing of the twins, they have to respect each other. And that includes your time, that includes your effort, includes your money, includes everything that makes up life, right? I respect you, you respect me. The delicate balance here that is necessary. And you want to leave June in better shape than how you walked into it, in community, period. This is your pipeline to success, all right? So, guys, if you want to see the written out version of this, just go over to where I work. It's my home away from home, 12listen.com. The live link is on my YouTube page, right on the main page. And just look for my name, Christina Morier. You'll see my picture there. That's where I work as an intuitive and a psychic and a lot more. Excuse me. And just click on my picture, and everything that you need about these personal year cycles is on my homepage right there. And people are so funny. Of course, it's free. It's free. Just that's where I happen to put them because that's where I work. I work with a bunch of beautiful astrologers. I'm like the only numerologist. It's kind of cute and not cute. I think they tolerate me as a numerologist. They're brilliant over there, by the way. So, and I love them dearly. All right, so you guys, I'm going to try to check in with you in a couple of weeks, okay? Just to give you a boost and to remind you to hold your center as you are experiencing delays, but those delays are for your highest good. Believe it or not, they're there for a reason. Because your job this month is all about, find your people, find your community, make it better than how you found it. You've got the superpower of the twins in your pocket, so use it. And it's not going to be there next month. What's there next month is totally different, all right? Much love to everyone. If you are loving these, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That's always really super helpful. And any questions or comments, you can just post them right here. Love to you guys, and I will be touching base soon.